and she's a food safety practitioner. Currently, she's holding certification business in Tata Projects and is also a senior advisor with Embryotech India, Foundation for UNCTAD Embryotech India program. She's also the president of COVI Maharashtra chapter. She's an entrepreneur and has a frozen food manufacturing venture.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for this opportunity. In fact, it's always a pleasure to speak to aspiring women. Also, it's a pleasure to always bring forth what is possible. So, all of you must be wondering what is COVI. So, COVI stands for Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs, and this is a body which has been instrumental in building the entrepreneurship among women in India, to an extent that today even the government looks forward to inputs from this body in the policy making. So the president of COVI India is a part of the sessions with the PM and his office in framing the policies that are needed for women and family welfare. Now, what do we really do? What we do here, basically what we do here is we tap the power of women entrepreneurs. Like as Sandhya ma'am just said, as women, we are definitely powerful. Okay? Powerful from where? Powerful from the very fact that right from our growing years, we imbibe a lot of behavioral things from our environment, which brings about a very predominant feature of a mother. Okay, it's not necessary that you have to be a mother to have those motherly feelings. Many times you have seen even a 9-year-old kid takes care of a 5-year-old very well. From where does she do it? She actually gets it from her environment, and it's an instinct which a child grows with, a girl child grows with. You know, that's why, even if you look at our mythology, if you read a lot about our books, they talk about women as a very, very powerful source. Okay? It's not very simple. Right? So this is what COVI is into. Tapping the power of women. Okay? Now, what happens is a little different feature that has happened in our cultural upbringing is that being in a patriarchal community, a woman is considered to be not so good. A consideration. We are absolutely good. It's just a consideration which has gone through us. Many of us from our childhood. So what we do in COVI? We try to get you in touch with your own greatness. That's what is more important. Like you are big, you can accomplish anything. Just look at this Chandrayaan-3 mission. How many women were involved in it? Yeah? Isn't it really amazing and enterprising to look at it? Yeah, it's a beautiful example for all of us today. Right? The success of Chandrayaan-3. And even ISRO says that they have been really good at the kind of work they did. Especially the touchdown and everything, the mapping and the timing was all done by them, including the reverse calculations. Right? So we are so good. Then, what does COVI do? We bring in an ecosystem which can support the growth of the women. And this ecosystem definitely includes a lot of things. It includes vendors, it includes finance, it includes customers, it includes other stakeholders, it includes regulatory issues, everything. So we build a complete support system for the women. So we are also registered as a hand-holding agency in the Stand Up India portal. Plus, we are empanel with a Skill India mission. Okay, so whatever entrepreneur development programs or entrepreneurship skill development programs are done by us, and if any one of you attend it, you are recognized in the Skill India program. Okay. Till date, of course, more than 1 lakh women have been mentored. There are various incubators across the country where the women are getting an opportunity to live their dream from the beginning, grow it in an incubator, and then take it to the next level where they are independent. So a lot of hand-holding is done by us. We are, as I said, under the National Skill Development Center, we are a training center where we do a lot of skill development trainings. If you look at COVID also supports the women by participating in a number of exhibitions and networking programs. Say in a year, there are a minimum of 2 international exhibitions where COVID can send delegations, and the entire expenses are borne by MSME or SIDBI, one of these institutions. We do a lot of training programs, we do a lot of seminars, workshops, conferences. We have a lot of mentoring support as far as infrastructure support is concerned. Right now, COVID is looking at actually developing manufacturing hubs. So they have already secured a land in Telangana where they are going to have 20 manufacturing hubs which will be run by the women. Okay, and it's up to the women to choose what she wants to do. Like some of the various fields that they are really growing big are in food, in garments, in handicraft and jewelry, and in services like housekeeping and maintenance of buildings, upkeep. Okay, so there is an infrastructure support given to them by virtue of giving them space, giving them the machinery needed, giving them the equipment needed for carrying out these activities. Now, who it helps? Of course, any woman above the age of 18 can come and she will be mentored. So we have something like a Young Cove. Young Cove is for the women in the age group of 18 to 25, where they need a lot of hand-holding. Okay? And then, of course, about 25, they can become Cove members and they can avail of all the benefits that Cove has to offer. We do a lot of work with housewives. So, for example, Delhi did about 4 cooking competitions for women. And the women who really won, they had an opportunity to place their recipes in some of the best magazines in the country. Because that's what the whole intention is, like to bring them to the forefront. So Cove is really doing a lot of work in bringing women to the forefront. There is one committee member of Cove in Rajasthan, Neeraj Rohilla, who writes on a weekly basis about the different schemes that are available for the women in India. What the government is giving support and how much financial support you can get, what more support you can get. She writes about it, about the different schemes. So each of us try to contribute in some way. It may not always be necessary that we contribute only money to something. There are various ways of contributing. Knowledge contribution is considered to be one of the biggest contributions. The more you share, the more you get. It's as simple as that. We are also looking at aspiring a number of women because if we really look at running a business, like it's correct. Like as a woman, you are very methodical, very meticulous, and you will not stop at anything for perfection. You will try to bring in perfection in everything. And if you don't get perfection, you strive for it. And as a whole also we have seen that women don't cut corners. We don't settle for anything less. That's very intrinsic of us. Okay, very intrinsic. So, even if you really look at some of the biggest positions held in the world, India. She was heading one of the biggest beverage brands in the world, and the kind of thing she brought in was immense. Like what she really first brought in was a discipline, and that's how that beverage brand grew and could actually grow beyond their competitor also. You know, we talk of sabotage, we talk of other things, but as a woman, she will never, subscribe to things like this. She will play her own game. She will try to do things the way it has to happen. Yes, at the most, what she will try to do is technically try to disqualify us. Okay, and this I'm telling from my own experience, where I, as a head of the certification business in Tata projects, many times I do it. Like technically I try to disqualify, and I really bring there a simple feature which Tatas have really taught me, that is never be unjust with anybody and never tolerate unjust behavior. Two things. So as a woman, I subscribe to it, and that's what we bring forth to the community as well, right? So as far as COVID is concerned, COVID is really interested in having women power show up. The COVID is really looking forward to women taking on opportunities, wherein they contribute to a larger part of the economy in this country. Okay, and for that support is available, right? So if any one of you are thinking of getting into any kind of a venture, it could be anything. Let's not think of having multi-crore business. Let's think of few thousands. It's fine, no problem. It's perfect, right? Like I literally do a lot of work with the pani puri walas near my house. The girl who comes and cooks in my house. I try to inspire them, and thankfully the girl who cooks in my house, she just told me from next month I'm not coming and doing cooking. I said, why? I'm setting up a shop right here and I'll be selling these food products. I said, great. I'll not stop her because she's doing something better than what she's doing right now. Right? And it's not necessary that you have to be always successful. It's fine if you don't succeed. It's no problem. Learning is a very big thing. Okay? We can always learn. But yeah, if we repeat the mistake, then it's not learning. It's more about being casual about the whole stuff. So, my invitation to all the women and even the men, because I always maintain this. If a woman walks 10 steps, the men in her life also have to walk 2 steps. Only then can she succeed. It's not necessary. You will never get to go anywhere without the men in your life. Let's understand. Like today, if I can stand here and talk to you like this, that's because my husband is taking care of my house. He's taking care of my parents, he's taking care of my child, he's taking care of the other stuff at home. Yeah, and that's necessary. I travel a lot. I travel at least maybe for 15 days in a month, and that's only possible because somebody back at home is helping me out. Right? So we need to acknowledge the people in our life, because the whole area where things start falling apart is here, where we don't acknowledge the people in our life for what they have done for us. Okay? So if we have to be happy, we have to have our environment also equally happy. Right? If we have to grow, then the environment also has to grow with us. Okay? So with this, I would like to just conclude, and any one of you needing any support in anything, be it related to a business, be it related to understanding why you should be doing a business or continuing with whatever you do get in touch with us. We can always have an interaction. We can do one-to-one personal chat on this, and we can figure out the opportunities and the options available. Right? Thank you so much.
Well, that was really very nice and insightful, and we all understand that women, if you educate a woman in the house, you educate the entire family. Because I am sure with the strength that a woman has inside her, she spreads it to the entire family, and the whole family grows, and we understand her education. So here, I would like to introduce you to the next speaker. He is Mr. Neeraj Rohilla, and a little bit about him. He is a distinguished and a renowned research scientist research scientist whose career journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. With a wealth of experience and accomplishment, he stands as a true pioneer in the field of oil and gas research. Our esteemed speaker currently serves as a key figure at Dow Chemical International Private Limited, India. His journey has been one of dedication, innovation, profound impact, and we eagerly await the insights he will share with us today. Please join me in this and welcoming our distinguished speaker, a true luminary in the world of research, as he takes the stage to share his remarkable journey and insights with us.
Okay, so first question is, what are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men doing in the room filled with men? No, this is important.
Supporting the women.
No, I'm not into it. So, I'm lucky to work for Dow Chemical Company. It is one of the biggest chemical company in the world. More than the business, they are really truly a great company to work for many reasons. One of the reasons is they have many ERG or employee resource group. And one of it is called Women Inclusion Network, WIN. And then men initially were reluctant to join that group. It's a women's group. We don't want to go and disturb them, or maybe we would be a nuisance, right? We are, by nature we are nuisance. No. But the thing is, in a group, in women's group especially, there are stakeholders, owners, but they also need allies. And that's what you mentioned, right? You very nicely set it up for me. So I appear in front of you as a very strong ally for women entrepreneurship, women empowerment. In my company, in WIN, I have served as co-chair as an ally for that group. So I have some experience dealing with it. My background is that of science and scientist. So some of the things Sandhya ji said and Krishna ji said, I'll try to give a different perspective on it. So think of me in this room as a diversity candidate. It's largely women, but now and this is gender neutral. For anyone to become an entrepreneur, start a business, do something fundamentally different, it's not easy. That's why actually in science there is a thing called Sydney problems. Complex, ill-defined and non-immediate. Non-immediate is very, like, I want to open my business. Okay, today I'm not feeling like it. What if I do it tomorrow, right? Nothing fundamentally is going to change in your today if you just move it to tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. But you don't realize what is slipping away, right? So these are more difficult problems to solve than a simple problem. Let's say Manish is filing an ITR and there is a problem with it, we can fix it very quickly because the problem is laid out very clearly. There are very few unknowns in that, right? Some of the problems, is it worth doing an MBA? It's a Sydney problem because there is no objectively perfect answer to these problems. You could be right, you could be wrong, and sometimes the wrong answer actually leads to the right answer if you start the journey. Right? So I take this William Shakespeare's quote, though this be madness, this sounds like madness, yet there is a method to it. So maybe in next few slides, I'll give you a little bit a flavor of what all we can do to handle these Sydney problems. This we have heard YouTube, TikTok is banned in India, but and a lot of influencers there, right? They say you have to have a growth mindset, you have to have the attitude, you have the skill. Like these words have lost meaning in last few years, right? What I have left behind is the process, right? To do a business, the process is process. You have to learn to deal with it. But even though they have lost meaning, these are still largely in your control. That's why they are different than the process. Process, maybe the government sets it, the agency sets it, the market sets it, but these three things, it's in your control, right? So anyone in this room, no one is stopping them to target the first three. This is a more general way to find your purpose in life, right? I did not make it, I found it somewhere and I thought I'll share it. So there could be a very simple way of it, but it has 4 circles. So first of all, this is called a Venn diagram in math. What it means is, whatever is common between circles is the intersection point, right? So let's say you have to find out what I'm really good at. Whatever you're trying to do. If I want to teach economics, But if I'm a chemical engineer by training, I'm probably not very good at it. I can get good at it if I want to try it, but that's not my core competency to begin with. Right? Second is, I love doing it. I may be a good chemical engineer, but if I hate doing chemical engineering, I'm not going to be doing a very good job at it. Right? This is very important for business. Is someone ready to pay for it? I like going, giving speeches and all. If I have a side gig that pays for my food on the table, I can do that. But if I want to do speaking as a money-making business, then there got to be someone who is ready to pay for it. And then finally, it makes a difference. This is a larger question in our life, why we are on earth. What is the holistic angle behind it? Like we take from everyone, are we willing to give something back? Right? So this is where it makes a difference in maybe one person's life. Like you mentioned that cook you had at home and you inspired her and she started her own business. Or some people are able to, inspire millions of people, right? We have our politicians, we have Narendra Modi who has inspired millions of people. We have these ISRO scientists you mentioned. Globally, great women leaders have inspired millions of people, right? Dalai Lama, for example. So then, okay, if you're looking for a mission, something you love doing it, something that makes a difference, that makes a very noble mission, right? You probably won't be able to get any money for it, but it has its own value. If you are really good at something and there is a money to be made, that's very easy. That can become a profession very easy, right? Or it makes a difference, market is willing to pay for it, it can become a vocation or a hobby. Some people have their day job and in the evening they paint, and there's some market for it. But your purpose in life overall, I think you have to take into account all four. That's when you have a true impact, not only on yourself, but also on the lives of people that you touch. So, if you are wondering what can I do, this is on Google, I can send it to you. Take a printout, sit with it for some time and try to figure out what motivates you, what you are good at, what you can get paid for. Let's say you figure out what to do. Now, this is an example of a bicycle, right? So, bicycle has two wheels, you need both of them. The wheel where you have the pedal attached, that's your power wheel, right? Because that's where you impart the power. And that is basically your hard skills, that's what you want. But where does the bicycle go? Does the back wheel decide where the bicycle goes? No. It's the front wheel. That gives the direction to the bicycle. That gives the direction to the journey where you're going to be going. And largely at maybe you can turn off the camera. Password for the meeting. First of all, is this the right meeting? I think we keep the camera off because it is disconnecting very often. So let's try the camera off. Is that okay?
To share
I will.
the windows you want to share.
It is. I selected share screen, so whatever is on the screen. So then the front wheel of the bicycle is largely your software skills actually, and how well you deal with people. Because harder skills, they may seem hard, but they're actually within your control. Learning mathematics is in your control, but dealing with people you want to teach mathematics is not that easy. So of all the problems we face, people problems are often the toughest one to solve. And if you are an entrepreneur, these are the kind of problems that will either make or break your business. It's not the product. It's rarely the product that makes a business successful. Then there's another thing I want to talk about. It's about working with people and getting things done. Don't worry about the graphs and all, it's very simple. Two axes. One is the productivity, one is the tension. If I meet someone new, then it starts from there. If the tension goes up, the productivity goes down between two people, any two people. I'm working with you, if there is a lot of relationship tension is going on, the productivity goes up. Tasks are different altogether. When the tension goes up, the tasks get done. That's why we finish very close to deadline. Because the tension is very high, I have to finish this report, and then when tension is high, task gets done, productivity goes up. There is a sweet spot somewhere. So that's why if I have to do a task with you, I have to do two things, right? First of all, I have to reduce the relationship tension between two people, because only then the productivity will begin to come. Because sometimes if we focus straight away on the task, it will not get done unless you have a very good working relationship with that person. If someone new on your team, focus more on this side than on the other side. Okay, so my question is, are you a salesperson, right? Some of you are salaried employee, I myself am salaried employee, I'm not a business person. But I ask the question, are you a salesperson? And many people don't think. I came from a very, privileged scientific background, and first time someone told me that you have to take a sales training. I said, I'm a research scientist, why do I have to take a sales training? I'm not a salesman. And then the instructor, it was a 3-day class, he said, you all engineers and scientists, you give me 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if you feel I'm wasting your time, I'll put your attendance and you go. I will not ask you. After 30 minutes, you are hooked. In fact, the training went overtime, all 3 days. So, everyone is a salesman because you're selling something to someone. If it is your boss, you're selling your competence. You're selling that I can go to stars for you, right? You should promote me among other people, right? So, but how the selling happens? It's very interesting. It's like Wilson training. They have a very good set. So first thing I talked about the relationship tension. So it doesn't start with offering anything. It starts with relating. If you are able to relate to me, only then you will trust me. Because if there is no relating, there is no trust. If you don't trust me, you will sit like this. No, this is a close body language, right? It's a cue that.
But it can also be because of the AC.
I was doing it like this. So before you can go anywhere. So that's where if you break a problem into simpler elements, then it doesn't matter what you are selling, who you are selling, how much is the market size. You are meeting someone for the first time, your goal is to relate to that person and build trust. That's it. That's the focus. No PowerPoint, no nothing. At the end of the meeting, the other person should be able to say, he or she sounds like a genuine person, sincere person. I wouldn't mind meeting him or her again. It should not be, what a waste of time. Next time, don't let him or her enter the room. Now let's say you have created trust with someone. Only then someone will say if there is a need, if they need something. Until I trust you, why would I open? My need is a kind of my weakness, right? It could be my business, it could be my personal life. If I need something, this means I don't have it. Why would I share that if I don't trust that person? So this is where, you do the discovery. So that was relating, now discovery. In discovery, you should speak as little as possible. The best discoverers I have met, they move forward the conversation with very economy of words. For every 10 words the other person is saying, they will just say, oh yes, tell me more. And then
Like open-ended questions.
Open-ended questions. Like let them speak, let them share. And you get to advocating only after that. Because if there is no need, you cannot offer any help.
You have to know the need first.
No, they have to tell you that they need something. What frustrates people is, I know Manish's business very much. I know what he's struggling with. But he's not telling me that he's struggling with something. All is well. Because in business world, you don't want to even appear weak, right? There is a saying, fake it before you make it. Like, धंधा कैसा चल रहा है? बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है. अभी एक भी कस्टमर नहीं है, मेरे पास तो टाइम ही नहीं है. इतने कस्टमर हैं. So this will take you to the first cycle, right? And then, if you don't support once you have offered them something, then cycle breaks. Because your product or whatever you are offering to someone, not only it should be in the top 2, top 1, top 3 of the consideration for your customer. You want to make it the only consideration. I need some help with yoga. I have my go-to person. I don't have a list of 3 people. I have just one person. And if you want to get into that privileged group with your customers or with your business, then you have to tie it in with great support. Because if you do all the good work, don't do a good job here, you are going to leave people unsatisfied. And what happens in the commercial side of it, the paycheck has been cashed at this point. You offered the help, right? The money is in the bank account. The salespeople, commercial people would want you to repeat this cycle over and over as much as on other people, because here you don't make any money. Sometimes you spend more time here than here, because sometimes support is support. You don't know what they're going to offer. But until you do it, you will not be able to get the circle. So this is exactly what that is, right? The relationship between dependency and subordinate is like sometimes there is a need. I have to admit I have a need, but then it is still, I have this small need, and don't waste my time. I'm specifically telling you what I need. Just give me that. I don't want to listen to anything else, right? That is not a very productive model in relationship in business. What you want to have is equality and interdependency. That's where you are not top or down, you are together. And this is where with the businesses that have that with their clients, they thrive. In my line of business, some of my customers, I have never had to have a price discussion with them. Never. They have never even come and asked me a discount. If they had asked for a discount, we would have given them. But they didn't even think of asking for a discount because we put a lot of hard work to get to that stage. And for your business, that should be the gold standard. You cannot achieve it all the time, but that should be the goal. Okay, this is an exercise mentally anyone can do. No. We went beyond 60 minutes, that's right. So, should we... It's not an exercise per se, it's just they have to think. Should I continue? This is important if you work either alone or with a group of people. If you work alone, then this is, if it goes bad, then you are done. If you are a group of people, this problem will come, but there are ways to fix it. What it is talking about is, you are sitting here, and you need to deal with someone. Think of a relationship, think of a customer, there are a few people from your company, think of an account, right? Where do you stand in the customer's mind? Are you their preferred version? Other extreme is negative. I don't want to do anything with individual. If you are an individual, that problem is very difficult to solve, right? In corporate, in groups, what happens is, they may not like me. That's why they have a negative perception of the company or a product that I represent. That can be fixed because you bring someone else on board to overcome their expectation, support them somewhere else. But always the idea should be you want to be preferred, like I talked earlier. And there are ways, like if this is your picture, You Google it, you come to me, and I'll tell you how to. Yeah.
Because online भी है ना लोग तो मैं join करवा
Okay. Okay.
please sorry
That's one of the reasons why in many places they change the leadership.
Yes.
Wherein it's going in an uncertain direction, they suddenly change the leadership so that they become more preferable to it.
And this is where some people, it can lead to situations when it is not fair. Like sometimes I have an enemy. My enemy joins my customer company. I cannot control it, right? Now, for no fault of my company or mine, there is sitting a guy who just hates me for no reason, right? What can you do about it? But if you are a company, they will have to do something because it affects business. It's not personal, it's business. And that's another reason, never burn bridges. Like relationships. You don't know someone you had disagreement with today, fight with today, where you're going to meet that. It's not a question of when. It will happen. It may happen 2 years from now, it may happen 10 years from now. If you stay in the same line, you will encounter them. And this goes through up and down. Sometimes you are here, they are here, it can change anytime. based on perception. And it will come in communication also. We see something and then rather than looking or listening at it, we very quickly jump to conclusions saying we know what it is. We know what the problem is. I know your problem better than you know your problem. Just because I touched it and in my mind it looks like an arrowhead and I call this an arrow. It could be something else altogether. It was not the arrowhead, it was the tusk of the elephant, right? But depending on who is touching where in the problem, they all can think that they are looking at the exact same thing, touching the same thing, but perceiving something completely different. Another thing is, in this room, how many people see an old woman in that picture and how many people see a young princess? Let's do hands for the young princess. How many people see young person? Okay, so half and half. Some people see old, some people see young. Right? So, but we are all looking at the same picture, and this frustrates us. How can you not see my viewpoint? I'm telling you, sitting in front of you. And then we get angry. We bring our emotions into it. And we call people by names. We sometimes question their competence. But they are coming from somewhere else. They are trying. They are not able to see what you are seeing. And in all sincerity, you're looking at the same thing. So what happens then? Because when we communicate, when we deal with something, we put a mirror in front of us. And we just bounce our thoughts, our ideas, our communication using the mirror towards ourselves. But the purpose of communication is for me not to listen to my voice. I can do it, at my home. If I'm communicating, the idea is to have a dialogue, not a monologue. Not even dialogue. Okay? No questions. And this happens in communication when you focus on how does this affect me. It's me. I am facing the mirror, I'm looking at myself. And clearly, maybe a tenth of the message goes forward. Right? Everything else just gets blocked. Very ineffective in communication. When you minimize self-focus, it's not about you. Only then you communicate clearly. Only then the message gets across. These are very simple things, but create a lot of problem in real lives. This is another strategy. There are tons of strategy. This one is called LAER. So it's like listen. When you are listening, you pay attention, you be silent and patient, you don't interrupt people, and you avoid premature reacting. This last one happens a lot. I have observed Americans, Europeans, Indians, South Asians, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, even from Pacific, people from Vietnam. We are very emotional people, very energetic people. And we have this thing, I want to prove that even before you finish your question, I know the answer. Maybe it's the classroom growing up where teacher was very happy if you answer even before she has finished the question. In real life, it hurts. Premature reacting, premature answering, it always hurts. You listen, then you acknowledge. Acknowledge is nothing. Whatever you have told me, I'm relaying it back to you. What's the purpose of acknowledging? Is to ensure that I've understood what you were saying. Sometimes just hearing is not listening, right? So you offer non-verbal encouragement, you make supportive reply, you reflect concern, and then the other person said, okay, we are on the same page. This is called being on the same page. And then you go explore it. Once you have done those two, now you can deep dive in the ocean. You can say, show me this, show me that, let's work together, and then we do better understanding. And only after that you respond. If you respond anything before that, and sometimes this one cycle is not enough. You don't get to respond. After exploring, you feel like you need to go back to listening. Because that's when you find contradictions. But what I am seeing and what you told me, they are not the same things, right? So this has to go on in loop until you figure out. I want to talk about this slide because you mentioned about some of the biases also, right? It's not easy being a women entrepreneur in a highly patriarchal society, right? We all have our subconscious bias. And this is not like no one is doing it, knowingly. It's just sitting you know, as a luggage back of our head, right? It's like, if a girl is there, it's like, how can she be good at maths, right? No, this is, I am just verbalizing it because I'm talking, but there are probably 1,000 people in 1 kilometer radius who just think it in their back of their mind. What will she do? It's like science, it's maths, right? That's why when people see ISRO scientists, there so many are women. Why it isn't news? Because people don't expect it to. Right? So that's your bias, right? We all have many biases, right? So some of them are there, 20, 30 more. Gender bias. Confirmation bias is interesting. The movies like Krishna Datta, they have done more damage than good. What happens is they show a narrative, and we vaguely see a narrative that matches it. Yes, this is absolutely true. That's the only truth. You find what you're looking for, and the moment you meet it, it's done. No more listening. Bandwagon effect. If a lot of people are saying one thing, people on the fence jump to say, this is the right way. Anchoring bias, again, you want something to give you, make it as your anchor. And then the halo effect is if a boss says something, it may be a completely wrong thing, but boss has a halo, right? Whatever boss cannot be wrong, right? So, and I'll probably end my, I have one more slide, but this is very interesting phenomenon. It's called Dunning-Kruger effect. If you go on the journey of business, or be very careful with this. Especially be very careful, people who are here. They will come in front of you, and maybe I am one of those people. They will appear that they know all. They will have very little competence. They will have too much confidence. And then, but if you are a systematic learner, you go through this process. Everyone goes through it. This happens, let's say, it happened to me when I was doing my BTech, right? In second year of BTech, I thought I knew what all there was to know about engineering. Then I did my master's, then I did my PhD, and then I came down from the peak of Mount Stupid. I spent a lot of time in Valley of Death there when I was depressed doing my PhD. And then slowly you find plateau of sustainability, right? This doesn't come at this point. It has to come after spending time. There is no shortcut for that, right? There is a rule saying in order to become expert at something, you have to spend 10,000 hours. What does that mean, 10,000 hours? If you work 40 hours a week, then a year you roughly work 2,000 hours. So if you have given something 5 years of your life, you want to become really good at guitar, people start practicing and then say, I'm not good enough, but you haven't given it 10,000 hours. Take anything, you may not know nothing about it, you give it 10,000 hours, you will become an expert. And then this is my last slide. Never discount the power of compounding and consistency. So there are people who do with numbers all the day. So what would be roughly answer to these two math problems? What would be the first one and what would be the second one?
Would be somewhere about 27.
Okay.
Second would be somewhere about 21.
Close. First one would be around 37. So even if you just give 1% extra every day, in theory you could improve 37 times by the end of the year. And the second thing happens with people who are actually good at it, and they become complacent. And rather than giving 100%, they start giving 99%, right? 99% is still pretty good. It's like almost 1, right? But if you keep compounding it day after day after day, that's where the problem is. It will lead you to 0.03. So I end my presentation on this. Hopefully I touched some thought points for you. You can go back, think about these topics, and you will find that they all come together when you approach a problem. And like I said, starting a business, being an entrepreneur, it's a very complex journey. It's a very complex problem to crack. So don't be despair if you don't crack it right away. Be consistent, be at it. You will eventually crack it. Thank you.
Okay, so our next speaker would be Mahima Agrawal. Please join me. So a little bit about her. She is a young mother of two children and she excels in balancing her role with lots of feelings. Professionally, she is a chartered accountant whose financial expertise knows no bound. Her ability to justify and excel in all her roles is nothing short of inspiring. Today, she will be sharing her invaluable insights as a finance expert. Let's give her a warm welcome.
standing in 2023. I completed my CA, I have done my MSET, I have done my post graduation, मैंने शादी भी कर लिया, मैंने बच्चे भी कर लिया, and I am still a successful woman standing in front of all of you. So just a few words that nothing stops you. It is your dedication, it is your encouragement which is going to pull you. People are going to pull you back because they can't see you successful. It is you who have to get into the confidence that first of all I can do it. If there are obviously going to be hurdles, but it is our capability of how we are going to sort that hurdles and how we are going to cope up with that. When she's saying I have 2 children, yeah, one is just 4 months old and I've brought her here. So even after having a kid, I am not sitting at home, and that is the enthusiasm that you need to create to become a successful business. Obviously, we all want to do something, that's the reason why we are here. But with doing something, you need to be dedicated and you need to give more than 100% so that you reach at least. That is what. So now coming about finance. We all spoke about business. We are good organizers. We are good managers. So we know how to do things. But there are certain things which comes to our mind. First is what is the process. Second is how are we going to be funded for that. Third is what are the legal complications that can come in picture. So there are various people in the community who help you or who can help you doing this. So let me come down. First is मेरे को business करना है, ये मेरे दिमाग में idea है, ठीक है? Now I want to see what business I can do. So I go back to the slide which Neeraj showed. Was where is your interest? What is that you are passionate about doing? What is that you love doing? Because if you are expert at something but you are not liking it, you won't succeed. If you love something but that is not making money for you, again you won't succeed. So there are certain parameters which we need to identify first. Accordingly, we can decide on which we can go with. Obviously, पहला decision right away necessary नहीं. But again, repeating the same mistake will not take us far. We need to be cautious on what decisions we are taking, and for that we should definitely discuss. We need to take help. We can seek people who are experienced in this industry, and उनका guidance से we can move forward. That is what I feel. Because खुद गलती करके सीखेंगे ना तो उम्र बहुत लंबी है. You can keep on doing that. But if you want to grow fast, if you want to grow at a right direction, at a right pace, then what I feel is we should learn from others' mistakes and we should grow with them. Because they have been spending, I think all of you have been spending in more than 30 years in the industry. So that is how we are going to learn. Even I being a young entrepreneur, it's honor to hear all of you and gain experience out of that. So first is what business do you want to do? Then how do we proceed with the business? There will be technicalities, there will be process, there will be legal government complications, there will be compliances. So again, for that, do not keep a burden on you कि सब कुछ हमको खुद ही करना है. आज आप कोई भी बड़ी कंपनी का बात करो, I'm talking about Tata Projects. You discuss with her, is Tata Projects run only by one single person? No. He has a company with more than 5,000 employees when we say Tata Projects, or more than 10,000 employees. कोई भी कंपनी बोलो, Reliance, मुकेश अंबानी, अनिल अंबानी ये अकेले धंधा चला रहे हैं. Are they running on the business alone? No, it is not possible. So you have to do it, you have to start it, but it is not necessary that you have to go alone on the path. You can definitely seek help, and with the help of these people, again, it's going to help us grow faster, better, and in the correct direction. Second is, once we have a thought, for example, we have a lot of home bakers. Okay? We decide on we have to do a baking business, or I love doing baking. So there are various things that you need to start with. First of all, I know a little bit of baking and I can start my business with that. Is it possible? No. As rightly said, we need to get into the business in detail to first know anything and everything. If somebody comes to me, I need finance, how are you going to help me? So I need to know कि equity funding है, loan funding है. You can get on private investors, you can get on venture capital, you can get on individual investors, you can go for IPO listing. These are the various options. People might have not heard about it, but when I am saying I am an expert in that, I need to know all the details. So similarly, any business that you are targeting, you need to know 100% nahi, at least to start 90-95% of the aspects. Then you can seek on कि अब इस aspect के लिए we can जैसे
आपका लिस्टिंग बनाता है, the same way you have to just make a list. This is my costing, these are my target audience, this is what I'm going to earn. Correct? So this is how things are going to move. Then how are you going to get the funding? You need to again go to an expert who will help you out get the funding. बेसिक चीज है. हम बोलते हैं हम वुमेन हमारा इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न आईटीआर में नहीं फाइल करेंगे. Why don't you want to file? Because I don't earn anything. So I am not required to file. But once you want to get into the market, that income tax return will help you gain funding for your business. See, there are always support systems. There are men in the family. There are family members who want to support. But is there any problem being independent? That's my question. Is there any problem being independent? You be independent first. कि अगर मुझे कुछ करना है तो I am self capable of arranging things for me. Definitely I have a lot of backup people behind me who are going to support me. But at least first step is going to be independent. So बहुत छोटी चीजें हैं. जैसे आप अपना इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल कीजिए. आप थोड़ा सा सोशलाइज होइए. आप देखिए मार्केट में क्या चल रहा है. What is going on. People are coming up with so many new ideas which we never even thought of. अभी हमने सोचा ही नहीं. There's a new concept of toy library coming up. There's a new concept of books library coming up. So people are coming up with new ideas and these ideas are moving. और ये सब लोग बहुत basic से start किया and they have become successful. So nobody is an Reliance Tata on day one. It's a lot of effort that takes you there. So basically. This is what I want to conclude, that if you want to start the business, you start. You don't wait कि मेरे पास 10 लाख का कैपिटल इकट्ठा होगा तब मैं स्टार्ट करूंगी, मेरे को सारा नॉलेज आएगा तब मैं स्टार्ट करूंगी. Once you start, that is going to help you grow and keep the learning process on even if you become Reliance. So that is how Reliance is creating a new company every month, right? So that is how you want to grow. That's it from my side.
So, as we listen to Mahima ma'am, what I can understand from what she says is that if you have a thought and if you have the desire that you want to achieve it, then the universe conspires towards it. So the thing is, what she says, follow that. It's not that everything you have to do it yourself. There will be help available. You have to ask for help and you will get the right guidance. I think that's, we end the session over here. Thank you so much. Sneha ma'am, she would like to say something about networking and business collaboration. Please welcome.
ये तालियां ऐसे ही कंटिन्यू होनी चाहिए. ये प्रोग्राम के लिए नहीं, अपने आप के लिए. पहले तो जैसे भी है हम लोग बहुत अच्छी लाइफ जी रहे हैं, राइट? तो हम अपने लिए जरूर अप्रिशिएट करेंगे. सेकेंड थिंग, हम लोग ने ये वर्ड्स सुने हैं रोज डेली फेस करते हैं, कॉम्प्रोमाइज, एडजस्टमेंट, सैक्रिफाइस एंड अरेंजमेंट. इनफैक्ट अगर सीए स्टूडेंट है या बीकॉम स्टूडेंट है, अरेंजमेंट वो सब मर्जर डीमर्जर वो वर्ड्स है, लेकिन यही वर्ड्स हमें सक्सेस के और लेके जाते हैं. अगर ये आप एक्सेप्ट करते हो, ये नेगेटिव वर्ड्स नहीं है, हम कुछ ना कुछ कॉम्प्रोमाइज करेंगे या फिर सैक्रिफाइस करेंगे तो हम अपने गोल्स तक पहुंच पाएंगे. ऐसे इजीली नहीं होता कुछ भी चीज. और प्रॉब्लम कभी भी साथ साथ आते हैं, कभी एक प्रॉब्लम नहीं आता है, 4-5 इकट्ठा सब आते हैं. तो फेस करो, दैट्स इट. गिव अप मत करो, जो भी करना है गिव अप मत करो. थर्ड थिंग इज कमिटमेंट. आप कोई भी चीज के लिए कंटिन्यूअसली कमिटमेंट, एक तप रहता है. पहले के ऋषि मुनि सब तप करते थे, लेकिन वो तप अभी भी कोई भी बंदा कर सकता है. तो हमें जो चाहिए वो चीज मिल सकती है, जरूरी नहीं है. जैसे मैं मेरा एग्जांपल दूंगी कि सोशल, जैसे ये इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑनलाइन, ये मैडम ने भी बोला कि ऑनलाइन एंड ऑल बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. मेरे लिए भी इंस्टा, फेसबुक एंड ऑल आज के तारीख में बच्चों बहुत इजीली फ्रेंडली यूज करते हैं. लेकिन मैं जिसमें स्पेशलाइज हूँ मैं बहुत हैप्पी हूँ. मुझे नहीं फर्क पड़ता है कि मैं सोशलाइज हूँ या नहीं, या आता है या नहीं आता है. मुझे जो आता है मुझे अच्छा, और उसमें मैंने सक्सेस किया है, बहुत अच्छी तरीके से किया है. तो मैं भी सबको यही करना, और काफी अच्छे पॉइंट्स स्पीकर ने कहे हैं. मैं रियली थैंक यू बोलना चाहूंगी स्पीकर्स को कि उन्होंने काफी अच्छे पॉइंट्स बताए हैं. तो प्लीज प्लीज़ आप नोट कीजिए, फॉलो कीजिए, कुछ भी चीज़ करनी है तो सपोर्ट एमजे ग्रुप से हमेशा रहेगा। हम लोग बहुत सारे एक्टिविटीज इस तरीके से करते हैं। आपके कोई थॉट्स प्रोसेस रहेंगे, कुछ भी आइडिया है तो ड्रॉप डाउन मत कीजिए, जस्ट डिस्कस विद अमंग आवरसेल्फ, वी विल डेफिनेटली वर्क आउट समथिंग। ओके, थैंक यू, थैंक यू। स्मॉल टोकन ऑफ थैंक्स देना चाहूँगी। मैं संध्या मैम को इनवाइट करूँगी। Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
I'm coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, yes. नीरज सर को मैं हाउस है। Thank you for visitors, guests. ऑनलाइन भी काफी सारे जन थे, इंटरनेशनल मिस Cheryl, CS Cheryl, Leena and Kavita and one visitor. There are few visitors. Thank you all of you for listening us. Thank you.